Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with your host, me, Richard Bexon. Today, we'll be talking with Mantou Pfluger of the Swiss Hotel Competence. There's a company that's focused on helping hotels and hospitality kind of with the technology integrations with sites like Airbnb, Expedia, Booking. So we're going to be talking and touching on stuff that basically what makes hotels successful. Also, if you're thinking about buying a hotel here in Costa Rica or in Central America, things that you need to consider. I see a lot of our listeners, again, thinking about doing this and really want them to understand kind of what it takes to run a successful hotel in today's day and age, because again, it keeps changing constantly on the technological front and also on client demands. So let's get straight into it. Remember, if you have any questions that you want to ask Mantou or future guests, please put them in the comments. You can also email us. Mantou's contact details are also, and his company's in the description. So let's get started. Good morning, Mantou. How are you doing?
Thank you, Richard. Excellent. How are you doing?
Very, very good. Thank you. It's a sunny day here in Costa Rica, right?
Perfect. Yes, it is. Because I'm also in San Jose.
You're in San Jose as well. Okay. I'm in Heredia. We're just probably about 10 minutes difference here.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Mantou, I gave in the introduction there. Again, you have a company called the Swiss Hotel Competence, which, basically kind of, I suppose, integrates technology into the hospitality world, which is something we'll kind of touch on in a little bit today. But I mean, the question I always like to start off with most people is, you've been down here in Latin America for quite some time. We've seen a lot of change this year, especially kind of within hospitality and just the world really, but what has really surprised you over the past 12 months, either personally or professionally?
Well, we all know what happened the last 12 months, and I was extremely surprised about how Costa Rica was managing the pandemic. If we compare this country with other countries, let's say the US or even Europe, in Switzerland, Germany, or next to Costa Rica's Panama. So all those other countries are places where I didn't want to stay during those pandemic year. And I was extremely surprised in a positive way how Costa Rica managed it in terms of protecting the health, but also protecting the small businesses. So, long story short, at the end, I can see that, let's say, if you own a business or a property here in Costa Rica, it didn't even lost value, even if we had a global crisis. And this was really something I was extremely surprised, for the last 12 months.
Wow. And I'm sure it probably had a bit of an impact on your business.
Absolutely. I think most hotel owners or suppliers to suppliers in the hospitality industry or travel industry had a lot of challenges. But I also know from most hotels that they did it, that they went through it, especially here in Costa Rica. And but definitely the learning curve has been extremely high during the last 12 months.
It's been an interesting 12 months, and I'm sure the next 12 months are going to be very interesting as well, as we restart the reactor, as I like to say, and we get tourism moving again.
Exactly. This is also what I think, because I always try to compare Costa Rica with other countries where I'm from, for example, Switzerland, or also in Mexico or in Colombia or Panama, because we have some insights into numbers in terms of reservations.
Yep.
And it's really interesting to see that I think Mexico and Costa Rica are those two countries which recovered very fast in terms of travel and tourism, and it's something really interesting to see. And I also expect for the next 12 months much higher demand, because of the situation that Costa Rica is managing the pandemic pretty good, in my opinion.
Yep.
And people see that, and that's why they travel here.
Awesome. Exactly. Yeah, I was looking at some stats the other day that came out from the Costa Rican Tourism Institute here. That Costa Rica is 75% down on numbers of last year, so only 25% of tourists are coming in. which is still pretty good compared to other countries. I mean, you've probably seen in the data. I mean, Mexico never really closed, so it was always the option there to people to go to. But Costa Rica again closed a little bit, then reopened up back in, I think, September it was. Everything's just kind of all fudged together now. I'm like, what year are we in? But like Costa Rica is recovering strong. We see it on the tourism side because we see it way before anybody else. Because people are booking out, basically they're booking now for a vacation in the future. So we're seeing like a strong recovery here for Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also something I can confirm because I also read that number from the ICT.
Yep.
But on the other hand, well, there are 25% people which are traveling here from abroad instead of 100% like in 2019. But all the Costa Ricans, especially the middle class, they are not traveling out of the country, like those people which would travel to the US or to Europe. So they are not traveling to abroad. So they will even also help in order to recover the tourism industry or the rental industry. So let's say you have a small hotel, then those people also will go probably to visit your small hotel instead of flying to Miami or to Paris or wherever.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned there again that you have a lot of data and probably insight into hotels here. And as I mentioned before, we'll probably not go into too much the technical details to just bore our listeners with, property management systems and connections with channel managers, etc. I think if anybody wants to have that conversation, it's probably best to just contact you, Mantou. And I'll provide all the details in the description. So if anybody wants to kind of geek or nerd out on that stuff, they can do it directly with you, just because I don't think it's for everyone. But I mean, typically on this podcast, we focus on people that are looking to buy, invest in Costa Rica, and we could even expand it to Latin America. Now, you've been doing business in Latin America for quite some time. I mean, what advice would you give to people looking to do business, let's say in Costa Rica? What do you think the biggest challenge is, and what do you think is the best thing about doing it?
I mean, first with the good thing, I mean, to come down here to Costa Rica or Panama or another Latin American country, it's definitely an amazing adventure I never would miss. And if someone is able to leave his comfort zone a little bit, he will be super happy here. And yeah, I mean, the lifestyle is amazing here. And if you're able to manage a small business, you will do it pretty well here. Now with the challenge, it's for sure that here everything works a little bit different than back home. I think most people which are listening to that podcast are from North America, maybe Europe. So, and if you come here, the best advice I can give is if you can combine the two cultures together. So don't lose your culture which you have from back home, because this helps most of the time in order to do business. But don't lose yourself also here in Costa Rica by thinking it's only vacation, a never-ending vacation. So, and if you can manage those two in between, like vacation and doing business in the same, in a good way, then you will be successful. That's what I think.
Are you trying to say basically don't take your Swiss watch off, but sometimes you can use the sun to also tell the time? You don't need to keep looking at the Swiss watch.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, you have your Swiss watch. Maybe if the other person from an appointment is not at the point there, then don't be mad about it, but don't put it also away. So you have to find a way to do it. So, yeah, exactly, something in between, because otherwise you will be stressed because things are working here different than in Europe or in North America.
We use the word seriously casual, meaning that you have to, we're very casual, relaxed, like Costa Rica, kind of pura vida, but we're really serious about the work that we do as well. So that, there's a time for being casual and there's a time for being serious. So
yeah, that sounds exactly what I want to tell you. Exactly.
Well, we spoke to Hans Pfister a while back. Hans has Cayuga Travel. And, we talked because quite a few people have this dream, of moving down to Costa Rica or Central America and basically buying a hotel or running some vacation rentals, and I'm sure that you have some experience in that, having worked with a lot of people that have done it. But I mean, in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest challenge that someone's going to face that wants to own a hotel in Costa Rica or wants to move into that industry?
Well, typically, if you move to Costa Rica and start doing a property rental or hotel business, it will not be your background from back home. So most people, they come here, they didn't learn hospitality management in the university or in school. So they have to learn everything by their own. And you definitely have to be, you have to know that this will be a process. So when you start at day one, there will be not working everything perfectly. And I think also when you own a hotel, you have to be clear about your concept. So if you don't have a clear concept about what you're going to rent, then it will be a little bit difficult. And we usually give a lot of advice about how to make positioning on a project in order to get success, because we have seen and we work with so many hotels here that I think we can share really good insights about that. Exactly.
Okay, I think that's great advice with regards to, like, I suppose, what is that area in the market that you're going to own, that concept with a hotel? Because I think if you're just going to go in and just be like, we're just going to be a B&B, there's so many bed and breakfasts here, or we're just going to be a boutique hotel, a luxury boutique hotel. I mean, it's, in my opinion is, and I've discussed this with a variety of people, is you need to be the most luxurious hotel, or you better specialize in something that nobody's really touching here, because exactly. There are a lot of hotels here, again, and it can be a great business, but like, as you need to find this kind of act like this guerrilla warfare where you can just hunker down and nobody can basically attack you, and you just need to own that concept.
Exactly. That's very a good point which you were talking about. You need to have also the concept has to work with the destination, because I have seen so many concepts and hotels and in different locations, and some of them are performing extremely well, and others, they are unfortunately loss of money.
Yeah.
And this is most of the time because of the destination and the audience, or the demand which is coming there, which can be different. So in the channel, you have different people than at the beach, and so make sure that your concept, your hotel, works exactly with the demand on the destination. And also you have to see what are my competitors are doing, what the competition is doing it, or other hotels in the area, in order to be successful. Usually I say, if you work in a destination, if you have a hotel at the destination where other hotels are, this is a good sign, because there is demand, and it helps also for your business. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the first guy that goes into an area, I mean, you're gonna get the spears thrown at you. I mean, it's just, if you're going to be a pioneer, then that's going to be I've seen many hotel owners try to be pioneers in areas, and for some of them it's worked and some of them it hasn't. It's just, you better be resilient and, just willing to work hard. But yeah, I think that's great advice. We have a lot of hotel owners or potential, people looking to build or own here come to us. Because again, we have this insight into all this data of what people are looking at, what people are currently looking at, where the trends are going, etc. But it's amazing how many people just run out there and start up, whereas it should be like, look, just spend a couple of $1,000s and speak to people to get a perspective, because unless you've been living in an area for a long time, or living in Costa Rica for years and years and years, you don't have that perspective. So I think it's a great point. Let's quickly jump into technology here, Mantou, because I know that this is really, what your business does and what it is that you do. And I mean, it's really changed the hotel industry and tourism. I mean, it's moving so quickly as well. I mean, just businesses are buying businesses, OTAs are still out there with regards to Booking, Expedia. Technology plays such a important part in the hotel industry today. I mean, what mistakes do you see that people make when it comes to implementing technology? Or maybe the mistake is they don't implement technology, but like people that try and do it. I mean, what advice would you give to someone that basically has a hotel and wants to integrate some technology with it?
Well, I mean, first of all, the reason why I'm here is because I saw many hotel projects in Costa Rica, Panama, which are they're super nice hotels, but they have no website, let's say that.
Yep.
And you have to be sure that that your hotel concept has access to the distribution market where people make reservations. So usually we have like 3 platforms which are relevant in hospitality. So I think the most interesting, especially if you own, let's say, a place or a house or with 2-3 units, then Airbnb is one of the most important booking channel. After that, I would say booking.com. Even if you have a hotel, a boutique hotel, let's say that, then booking.com is the most important booking channel by far. So it's like most of the traffic will go through booking.com. And then the third channel, which I really advise to use, is Expedia, because Expedia is linked to so many other travel platforms or OTAs, which is online travel agencies. So, and my advice is to have a good profile on all those 3 platforms, but not only on those 3 platforms, also on a direct channel. So it means like a hotel website. And of course, if you have a hotel, a place with 1 apartment, let's say that, you will not be able to make a hotel website. But as soon as you have a branding, let's say you have a name for your property, or if you have more than 3 units with prices over $150, then it's definitely important to start with that process in order to have success. Exactly. The booking platforms, they know that there is a lack of knowledge usually in hospitality, and that's why they offer you those solutions, which you can use it, but you pay a high price. So we speak about commission between 18 to 20%, well, 15 to 20% per reservation. So that's a lot of money at the end of the month.
Sure.
Imagine all your rental income is going through booking.com, and you give them 18% of your income. I mean, it's a lot of money, exactly. And what I would try to do is, like, if you have a hotel, try to sell direct, either through that people call you, that they write you on Instagram, or that they make a reservation on your own website. Exactly. That's what we usually try to do. Exactly.
I think that's great. That's great advice. Again, having built, started a hotel from scratch, implemented a variety of property management systems myself. Sometimes people are like, Rich, you've worked and run an agency, grown that, you've developed property, you've sold real estate, you've had other businesses, but really the hotel part was for us the concept to begin with, then implementing the property management system, which is basically kind of your clients, reservations, and then having like a distribution channel, what they call a channel manager, which pushes all of the availability out to Airbnb, Booking, Expedia, so that, like, again, when someone books through Expedia, it takes the availability away on the calendar, which then pushes it back out, to Booking and Airbnb to let them know there's been a change in availability. But I think the direct part is definitely, the part where every hotel should have a very strong direct piece. Why? Because then you're not at the beck and call of, if Expedia or Booking tomorrow decide to charge 50% commission or cut you for some particular reason, it's going to have an impact on your business, but not as much as if you had a good, strong direct business. So I think you make a great point there, and especially having the ability to book on your website as well, which is important because a lot of hotels don't have that as well.
Yeah, it's not even to be bookable on. It's not even the point that you have to be able to make reservations on the website. It's also important for branding, because if you own a nice place, boutique hotel, and you have only a listing on Booking and on the Airbnb and no website, so people are asking questions why this hotel has no website. So maybe they will not book at your place because of no website.
Yeah.
Because they want to have that trust. Exactly. And what I also see is, like, sometimes hotels, they are projects more than $1 million, maybe 2-3 million. So but they don't even have a website. And then I ask myself, why exists a hotel for a couple of $1 million, but they don't even have a website?
Wow.
And
Wow.
we don't have that in Europe, let's say that.
Yeah.
And so.
Wow. Well, I think if anybody wants
really
to go,
different.
yeah, definitely. I think if anybody wants to go further down the rabbit hole with you, Mantou, they can contact you. I'll have all the details there, and you can kind of explain what it is that your business does there on, by having that platform and that distribution channels. So I think they could go, again, they can contact you, and I'm sure you'd be very happy to talk to them about it and give them advice, etc. Because I know that you have quite a bit of experience in it.
Yeah, exactly. So I would typically do a small analysis that I can see what we see, because after so many projects, we have some knowledge about it, and I'm really happy to share it with anybody which wants to start doing a hotel with his property.
There you go, guys. You need help, reach out to Mantou. He'll tell you about which concept works, how to make money, et cetera, et cetera. So, well, Mantou, let's change gears here a little bit, because you've been in Latin America quite a bit. But if you had to go back 5 years, meaning we went back to 2016, and had to tell yourself to invest in something in Costa Rica or Central America, what would you have invested in and why?
Well, I mean, it's a hard question, because I like both countries, Panama and Costa Rica. And what I would do is probably I would buy in both countries a lot, like land, or even 2 small hotels, one in Panama, one in Costa Rica, to see what happened in the future. I think if I put everything in Costa Rica, it would be work out better, because right now we can see in Panama has a little bit drop of tourism, and the market here in Costa Rica is much more sustainable in terms of business, and so I probably would do that. So I would invest into Panama, into Costa Rica, into 2 different places.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, I mean, basically, again, if you had to go back 5 years, so to 2016, you had a time machine, you would tell yourself to buy a hotel in Costa Rica and also one in Panama.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Small with a lot of rich space to develop. It doesn't have to be like a ready hotel. It has to be just a property and land, and then with the cash flow you can improve it. Exactly.
I think that's great. What would you have stayed clear of, Mantou? What would you have not invested in?
Well, I think into locations which are too remote, because I've seen that sometimes, quite a lot, that people invested a lot of money into areas where really nobody goes. And explaining why it's not a good idea, because if you have the opportunity to invest into an area which looks nice, but which has no demand, this will not generate you income at all. Because in order to make a remote location working, you need to invest a lot of money into marketing, because you need to have publicity, you need to have hotel branding and all that, and this costs you a lot of money. So, and usually, as a small business owner, you will not be able to do that. So, and I have seen that some people, they invested into areas which are not so attractive in terms of their concept. Exactly.
I think that's.
And so I would be aware of that. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. That's awesome advice. I mean, let's go to today. You don't have a time machine, but today you've just inherited $500,000, Mantou. This is a question I ask everybody. You've inherited $500,000 and you have to invest it into a business or real estate, let's say in Costa Rica. Where would you invest it? What would you do?
I mean, $500,000. What I probably would do is I would look for a lot. I'm going to say in English.
Where else?
An underdeveloped. What do you mean?
In which location would you look at? For the future?
I think in Uvita.
Uvita?
somewhere in Costa Rica. Uvita, which I like, or Puerto Viejo.
Or Puerto Viejo.
Yes, exactly. And this lot has to have an underdeveloped house on it, and then I would try to turn that into a luxury boutique hotel with the cash flow.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe you can first accommodate, I don't know, with 3 rooms people, and then you can start slowly to increase the place and make it nicer with the cash flow. Exactly. This is probably what I would do. With 500K.
I think that's great advice. I know Colin at Banana Azul in Playa Negra near Puerto Viejo did that. I mean, he bought and then kind of developed, and I mean, he's producing some real nice stuff at the moment. You know,
it's
very
awesome,
nice rooms.
This project is really awesome. Like, this is a very good example of how to make of how to develop nice hotel concepts. Exactly.
Yep. I'm sure Colin would be very, very happy to know that we're talking about him at the moment. So no, he's got a great concept, and I think for anybody that wants to see something that's kind of grown from, you know, smaller to bigger and growing more luxurious, it's definitely Colin's a great example of that.
Exactly. Banana Azul in Puerto Viejo, I highly recommend to maybe if you have a chance to speak to him, because what he's doing there is amazing.
Yeah, he just opened a supermarket. I mean, just across from the hotels. So, But anyway, Mantou, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I really appreciate your time, and I'm sure that the listeners have anyone that's looking to, I would say, build a couple of vacation rentals, hotels, I'd highly suggest getting in contact with Mantou, just because of the experience, the data, and the knowledge that he has, but also really the technology platform that he can provide for the distribution, to these multiple different, online travel agencies, which is, in my opinion, it's only going to grow in the next coming years. So Mantou, thanks very much for your time. All your contact details will be in the description. And I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Richard. I will.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.